Hey guys, WildmanMark here. We're doing tailgate talks with the Wildman. This is Shane Dietrich. Sorry, I had to make sure that I say his last name right. But he's with Critter Control. I've known him for a few years. In a few years that I've known him, he's had a very successful experience working with Critter Control. So we're going to talk to Shane and, see how everything's going and see if we can't get some advice for some folks to help them out on their journey.
Excellent.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My background is definitely not wildlife. I was in commercial cleaning for a while, trying to find my way and what I wanted to do in life. I ended up working for another franchisee in the Wisconsin market. I started out with him as a salesman, quickly moved into a franchise manager role in the state of Wisconsin, and then moved into a sales manager role that oversaw the 9 franchises that he owns. Helped build that to a pretty solid 8-figure company, and then he fired me. And I'm not sure why, still to this day. I don't think I'll ever get a real answer out of him, but he fired me, and it was kind of the best thing that ever happened to me. So I was trying to find my way, figure out what I wanted to do, and the opportunity to purchase my own Critter Control franchise came about. The problem with it was that it was either 3.5 hours away from my house in Wisconsin, or it was 3.5 hours away from my house in Indiana, whichever one. So I looked at the 2 markets and found that South Bend market was somewhere I wanted to be, and purchased that market and opened the doors. Opened my tent door August 1st of 22. We're at the AAC conference now, and I spoke last year. And if you were here last year, or if you've listened to any podcasts I've been on, you kind of know my story. But I started my company out of a tent in a campground close enough to their clubhouse so I could steal their Wi-Fi.
Nice.
And then I upgraded to a really terrible hotel room for a while, and then finally upgraded to be able to rent a space. And now I own a house out here. And actually, as of yesterday, I have an accepted offer on a commercial building.
Nice. So why Critter Control? Why not just, build your own name and your own brand? Why did you choose Critter Control? Because I know me, for when I started, I had these big ideas, these big plans, and I'm like, hey, I'm getting into the wildlife industry. I'm doing this research, and I see Critter Control at the top, and I'm like, screw those guys. I'm gonna beat them at their own game. I'm gonna be the #1 wildlife company in the United States. And as a business owner, you quickly learn that that bar was set pretty high.
Yeah, absolutely.
But why did you choose to go with Critter Control?
It was an easy choice for me, and for a few reasons. First and foremost was that I was already part of the system,
Hmm.
and for a period of 4 years, I had helped build another franchisee, the largest franchisee in the Critter Control, still to this day, actually. And well, for now, until I get a hold of more territories. But I had helped him scale his business up to, like I said, about $10 million, and I kind of already had a blueprint,
Yeah.
and I knew that the company worked. I knew the system. I knew that the minimum operating standards that they upheld were really kind of in line with what I wanted to do. So I knew that I could copy and paste that blueprint just about anywhere. I had already done it in 5 different states in many different market sizes, and we turned them into $1 million markets every time we touched them. So the fact that I could do that just about any state really speed to scale, I guess, is the short answer. Right?
Right.
I knew I could scale it very quickly, build $1 million. Naively, I thought I could build $1 million company really quickly. Luckily, and due to the experience I had, I was able to very quickly. So speed to
Yeah.
scale is really the short answer.
Since you've started your own franchise, you obviously very successful with it. What's the biggest keys to your success with being an operator in the system? Like, what was the biggest thing that helped you become so successful so quickly?
Oh man, that's a very deep question. Um, and there's probably many layers to it. So I'm going to try and dumb it down the best I can. Um, my success was based on replication of a system that I already knew worked, and finding the right people whose vision aligned with mine on where I wanted this company to go, and hiring those people and letting them do their job.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of their way.
Right.
Don't micromanage them. Find out what they're really good at. Let them do that thing and let them do it really well. And don't overload people.
Yeah.
There's and you could probably debate this for days and days and days with many different people on both sides of the aisle. But when you have a sales guy that does the work as well as sells the work, in my opinion, it's not the greatest way to do it, only because I, for that exact thing I just said, I'm looking for somebody that's really, really, really good at that one thing,
Yeah,
training them and empowering them to do that one thing to the absolute best of their ability. So I think my team is really the only reason that I'm successful.
absolutely. I learned that, through failure with my team, and choosing the wrong people can be detrimental to your business. It's really important that your team is not only formidable, you have them with the right training, but that they have your same vision, and that that core focus of the company, that where you guys are all heading in the same direction. Because once you got somebody going against the current, man, it makes things difficult.
That's right.
As far as, so you kind of touched on this a little bit, but if you can dive in a little bit more, like, how do you handle your day-to-day operation with balancing your jobs, your crews, and customer calls?
So I figured out very, very quickly, and only through the failures of others, right? And talking with a lot of people and networking with a lot of people, that I knew that I couldn't do all of it. And I knew that if I tried, that I would likely fail.
Hmm.
I also understood that it costs money to do these things, but I also understood that the faster I do them, the more successful and the quicker I'm going to get up to scale. So I figured out that just hiring the people to do those jobs, I quickly hired a couple of people to go out and actually do the work because I was really, really good at selling it.
Hmm.
I can do the work, but I don't find a whole lot of joy in that. I find a
Right.
whole lot of joy in solving people's problems
Right.
and offering them solutions. So I found people to actually go do the work. I was selling the work, and then I found somebody that's really good at sales as well,
Hmm.
and train that person to go out and do the sales so that I could focus on growing the business. And answering the phone was one of the first things I got off of my plate. I knew answering the phone on a roof or missing the call, I'm definitely losing money.
Oh, that's so important to get that contact, because in this day and age, if you don't answer the phone, they're already calling the next guy,
Absolutely.
and you lost that client. I don't care what type of sales pitch that you have, because they, in most cases, people just want the first person that's going to be at the door.
Yep.
What type of systems are you using, or routines or tools that keep your workflow operating smooth? Like, is there anything special, like unique to your division of critter control, that separates you from other critter controls?
Um, yes and no. I mean, we all operate kind of similarly. I think what it is it's a mindset difference.
Hmm.
It's just a different way of running business. I learned from one of the best franchisees to ever exist for critter control, and what I found is that if you invest in other people, you're going to get in return tenfold.
Yeah.
So what I learned from him and from being a part of his business is that the difference is always the people that are coming to work for you. It's
Right.
never you, it's never the system, it's never the process. Yes, all of those things have to be in place for you to have a successful business, but it's always come back to who works for you and what do they stand for the same things that you stand for. And I
Yeah.
found if you can marry those two things together, and the world's a different place.
Exactly. What advice would you give to any operators out there that may be struggling with their business, or struggling to scale their business up to that $1 million mark?
Again, I'm pretty fortunate. I was able to get to that $1 million mark relatively quickly. My first full fiscal year in business was that mark, and not that it wasn't a struggle, right? To get there is an incredible feat, and I don't want to sell myself short on that, but it was something that I expected myself to do. So I don't relate a ton with those that are going through the actual struggle of getting to the million. But what I can tell people is that 99.9% of people are going to struggle with
Hmm.
that. One of the biggest things that I did, even when I was working for somebody else, was networking with other business owners,
Being at events like this.
being at events exactly like this. It's funny. I was talking with Tony Siri the other day, actually just 2 days ago, and I was telling him the story about my first week, or maybe it was my second week, that I was actually working for in this industry, working for my old boss, and I came here to this facility for a NACOA BAT Standards 1 and 2 course,
Yeah.
and Matt Eichmann was one of two people that talked to me while I was at this event. It was him and Marina Sorrentino, and
Oh yeah.
those two opened up my eyes to the incredible people that are in this industry that want to genuinely help others in this industry and watch it grow.
Hmm.
So it opened my eyes to being able to go out and talk to other people and get ideas and understand that they're going through, they've already been through everything that I'm about to go through. So
Right.
if I can learn even a little bit from them,
Hmm.
that's the hack right there. That's the shortcut. Invest in yourself, invest in events like this because they have quite literally changed the trajectory of my business and so many others.
Yeah. I gotta write these notes because I set up like several interviews today. I don't remember what, ain't gonna remember what the questions are. So
Yep,
writing things
for sure.
down, you know. So okay, yeah, yeah. So one thing I noticed about you, and there's a bunch of wildlife control operators here that are the same way. So you're you're running your business, you're doing all this stuff, and you still manage to keep fit. So how are you doing this where you're managing your business, you're managing your employees, your home life, your family side, and then still managing to make sure that you take care of yourself and keep fit?
Yeah, so a wise man once told me that health is going to be a priority in everybody's life. And it's either going to be a priority now, or you're going to make it a priority, or life is going to make it your priority as you tend to age and get older,
Right.
and if you don't treat yourself well. Um, and then And so that just hearing that from people, well, from this one person, really changed the outlook that I had on it. And then also understanding that taking care of yourself is not selfish.
Hmm.
Taking time away from your family and your business to make sure that you're at least in somewhat of good health. And I'm not by any means a fitness guru, right? Right. If I took my shirt off, I'd still
Yeah.
have the dad bod going on. But nonetheless, is that it's not a selfish thing to take care of yourself. It's actually one of the most selfless things you can do,
Hmm.
because you're trying to keep yourself healthy not only for your family so you can be around longer, setting a good example for your children if you've got them,
Yeah.
or setting a good example at your business, showing people that you're dedicated to something and that you can stick to it, and that health is tough.
Yeah.
Working out's not easy. It takes discipline, and if you can show that to other people, it's one of the most selfless things you can do. Although it feels selfish while you're doing it sometimes.
Yeah, I struggle with that myself. I get into, you know, consistency. Start working out, start losing weight, start going to the gym, and then, the shit hits the fan. You got this fire to put out, that fire to put out. All of a sudden, you're about to go to the gym, and the wife is calling you, hey, I need you to do this. Can you pick up this? Can you pick up that for the kids? And it's like, oh, by the time you're done with all that, the last place you want to sit there is go to the gym. And that's one of the things that I've personally struggled with, is making sure that you keep that time to take care of yourself.
Yeah, man, it's definitely one of those things, and um, man, I'm fortunate. My wife is the backbone of our family. Try not to get emotional about it because I love her so much, but
It's
she
it's
is,
okay. You can cry.
and I would, man. When I talk about her, I do tear up all the time when I talk about her because she's so great. I couldn't sit here if it wasn't for her. So I don't have to deal with that as far as go get this, pick up this. I mean, she's a rock star. She takes care of all that so that I can be here and do and run this business and build a future for us.
Amazing.
Um, she builds it more than I do, only because she allows me to do it. But having said that, absolutely, I struggle with it too, right? Consistency and making sure I go and finding time, and this blows up, that blows up, whatever the case may be. What I found is that all of it ends up being an excuse because at some point during my day, I'm I'm either sitting on my couch, sitting on my chair, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doom scrolling on
Oh
TikTok or
yeah,
Facebook or
don't you know
whatever.
it? Like,
At some point in my day, I will definitely be doing one of those things, and I can take that time and dedicate it towards the gym or whatever it is. You can just go for a walk. I mean, go for a
right.
30-minute walk, and you can still doom scroll while you're walking if you
Mm-hmm.
want to. But yeah, that's kind of what it's just a mindset thing for me. Once I switched over to there is no such thing as a good excuse to not take care of yourself. Um, kind of that's kind of
Are we still? What?
following
It's
me.
following you. Oh boy. Whoa. Technology went and took over here. I was wondering what's going on. One routine that you've developed that you will never give up. That you're gonna take this to the end.
Routine that I'll never give up. And I'm not even sure if it's a routine. But as I sit here and think about it, one of the things that I absolutely refuse to do is not tell my wife and my kids that I love them every day. It's something I refuse to not do.
That's a
Whether I'm
good.
texting them, calling them, I'm at home. That's just something I will never not do. My dad and probably his whole generation is more of a very kind of tough, rigid
Yeah.
type situation, right? So I didn't, and still don't. Not that I know my father loves me and I love him to death. He's another reason I can sit here. Um, but ultimately, I know that I need to tell my kids that every day, and it's probably not for them. It's probably more for me than anything.
Yeah.
But that's a routine that I'll never stop doing until the
Amazing. That's a good answer. Look, you're good at this.
day I die. I
You
try.
have you done this once or twice? If we Are you gonna? It really likes you.
It,
See. Even my camera says,
camera centric.
this is one buff guy is like you got to pay attention to him. So, rapid fire questions, and then I got one stupid question that you got to answer.
All right,
All
all
right.
right. I'm in.
So, early morning or late night?
Man. Late night. I'm not an early riser.
Yeah, same. I detest waking up early in the morning. Uh, favorite animal to work with, or one that you respect the most?
My favorite animal to work with is going to be raccoons, only because they're pretty straightforward. Their entry points are pretty easy to find, so it makes my job a lot easier, and they cause the most damage. So um, I tend to like working with them.
The fly's jealous.
I know,
It's
and I
like you
see that
didn't pick me.
he came out here with me and the second part of the question, I'm sorry, say that part again.
No, it's just one. Which one do you respect most?
Respect. In our industry, the one I probably respect most, um, probably the bat.
Bats.
Yep, they're a pretty resilient animal, and the fact that they've been protected for so long and have so many things working against them nowadays to survive. I respect the fact that they're still around and still making us money, I guess.
Nice. All right. So, one thing you wish every homeowner knew about wildlife before you walk to the door.
That it needs to be professionally addressed.
Mhm.
That it's not something that a handyman can take care of, or Joe Schmo down the road can take care of, or their neighbor can take care of. And trapping isn't a solution; it's a band-aid
Right.
for the most part. For trapping and excluding, obviously there's two parts there, but trapping alone is not a
Right.
solution.
You got that. As an exclusion professional, let me tell you, when I get people that call me up, hey, can you trap this animal? Absolutely not, but I can exclude the animal for you.
Right.
I detest just doing trapping. So here's our stupid question.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Yeah, let's. Hopefully you got a good one. Oh, where we open it? All right. So if nuisance wildlife formed a union, who would be their leader?
A union, huh?
Yeah, all the nuisance wildlife in the country got together, formed a union. Who's going to be the leader?
Golly, man. There's probably a lot of answers I could give, and all of them are not great answers. um, you know what? I'm gonna nominate Tony Siri to be the leader, only because.
No, the nuisance wild animals.
Oh, animal, not person.
Not the person.
So if the nuisance animals,
the nuisance animals, they're forming a union to go against us. These are stupid questions.
All right.
That would have been a good answer, but
I told you my stupid answer was coming. Man, who's going to be the lead? What nuisance animal is going to be the leader of the animal union against us?
Yep.
It's got to be the raccoon.
A raccoon.
It has to be. It's the one that I imagine is most dealt with as wildlife control operators. I would guess. I don't really know that, but they're one of the largest animals that we deal with, if not the largest animal. Mm-hmm. And they've got that sketchy little mask on, so I imagine that they can form a good union. They're kind of mobster-like, and
they lure you in with cuteness. That's it. And then they try to rip your face off.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. So, since our face trackers like focused on our guest here, thanks, Shane, so much for joining me for this. This was, educational and fun. I always enjoy getting to talk to you. I appreciate you coming here. I hope you take a lot away from this conference. So there you got it, folks. This is Shane from Critter Control. If you ever have any questions about scaling your business or learning about the franchise and his journey, don't hesitate to reach out to him. You guys have a blessed one.